It's a massive weekend for hurling. Waterford, Tipperary, the Munster Hurling final is a pick. How do you think that one's going to go? Pete?
Yeah, well, it's kind of the big weekend for hurling every year. Is the Munster final. It's a big traditional occasion. Maybe it's not the biggest of pairings, which is usually Cork and Tip. It's Tip and Waterford, and I'd say a lot of people probably stay away this weekend because what happened last year. Waterford fans probably take a bit of convincing to come back because they did lose by 7 goals last year, 21 points, which is a record defeat and kind of embarrassing at that stage of the competition.
That was a total freak last year, wasn't it? Really, that couldn't happen again, could it?
You wouldn't have thought so. You were actually at that game yourself, Karl. Like, I don't know, what did you think of it? Like, it just seemed to get away from them very, very quickly, didn't it?
Early goals killed them. Barry Karl scored 4-4 that day. Owen Kelly had 2-7. It was just two of the best hurlers of their generation banging form. And Waterford tried some different tactics that day. They tried to drop a man back in front of their full back line. And Tip just cut them to pieces with early long ball. And it was the best that played that summer. They probably peaked too early that summer, so I mean that's.
Yeah, and Waterford have gone back to a more traditional style of Waterford hurling. You know, Michael Ryan in charge there. They are hitting the long ball themselves, and whilst it'll improve them, mightn't be the sort of tactic that'll win you in All Ireland. But yeah, you'd expect them to be a lot more competitive. I still couldn't see them getting within a couple of scores to take probably at the end.
You would probably just think that maybe Waterford put a lot of focus on the Limerick game the last day. There seemed to be a lot of players with a point to prove. You've seen John Milan and Owen Kelly at the end of the game. And
yeah.
I mean, they clearly had a point to prove to the former manager David Fitzgerald. So, it's possible they might get themselves up for this one again, but it seemed like they invested a lot in that game, and whether they're able to get to those levels again, I don't know. But
yeah, and Tipperary are they've a kind of a steady level of improvement.
Yeah, they're impressive. They're impressive when the game comes into the melting pot. You can see their experience is shining through. Paddy Maher and these boys took the game by the scruff of the neck.
Yeah, like when they had 14 men the last against Cork, that's when they really stepped it up.
Yeah.
We were just there's another provincial final on this weekend as well. Obviously down in Hyde Park, Mayo and Sligo. All the talk, of course, during the week is about Conor Mortimer leaving the panel in Mayo. Do you think that'll have any effect on like he wasn't in the team for the last little while? Do you think that'll have any effect on Mayo?
I can't see it having a lot of effect on Mayo, to be honest. James Horan's running such a professional ship there that I mean it's probably more of an effect on the player himself. I don't think it will affect the manager or the other players. And I don't think Conor Mortimer should have left the squad. This is about Mayo. This is about Mayo trying to win an All Ireland. This is about a team effort. He could have still had a role to play off the bench. And I know he's released a statement where the Mortimer family have saying that Conor's worked very hard to come back from his injury and things. I mean, lots of players do that, and they stick to it. And sort of they don't leave on the eve of provincial final.
If he was going to go, maybe go on Monday. Go quietly.
Go after the game.
Yeah, like his point was he wasn't going to stick around just to win another medal, but maybe it's not just about winning another medal, it's maybe helping Mayo. Obviously he'd been a help for them coming off the bench, but a big loss for them, and one that might be a bit more consequential, is Aidan O'Shea is still out injured. Himself and Seamus both played a club game recently, haven't missed a lot of football for Mayo, he's probably their biggest big game player along with the likes of Andy Moore.
Well, Aidan O'Shea gives Mayo that abrasive, aggressive edge that they maybe have lacked in the past, and I mean he's a massive guy, 6'4", and he's maybe 15 stone, and he
lots
wants
of ability as well.
He wants to win. He seems like a very driven fella, and there's no fear in him. He hits hard. The rest of the team often follow his lead. He's one of those go-to men Mayo have along with probably Andy Moore as well.
What would you'd expect him to win even without him, though, wouldn't you?
Sligo are a good team. They're an honest group of footballers, and
they probably feel like they left them behind them 2 years ago as well.
They probably did in 2010 when they beat Galway and Mayo, but they have great full forwards like Adrian Moran and David Kelly. So I mean, they have a chance if they can get the ball into those fellas, because maybe the Mayo defence is a bit untried and untested at this level. New fellas like Kevin King, maybe
My feeling probably that Mayo are a quarter-final team. They should be good enough to get a quarter-final. Most teams, the players they have, they just
well enough organised, look like they're on a mission.
Yeah.
A few years ago, Mayo might have been caught in a game like this, but I don't think so now. So
I wouldn't have thought so. And the thing is, then if they do get to, Croke Park, they play Division 3, Division 4 team. That might be the ideal preparation. I suppose they have this particular one to get over yet.
There's I suppose the other game everybody's talking about is Shawnee Johnson, Kildare and Cavan. Do you see him playing any role or not this weekend in the qualifier up at Breffni Park against his native county?
I do think he will, and I think they have to play him. Just get it out of the way. They maybe should even, if they'd been thinking right, the possibility of being the last 2 minutes regardless of the result, just to get it out of the way. They didn't do that, so there was a bit of doubt with the shoulder injury, but he trained fully during the week with Kildare. In Kildare, he trained on his own in Cavan Town, in Cavan Gale's own pitch, his own pitch, should I say, during the week. So he's very likely to play. It's a total slideshow. It probably did distract them and didn't help them entirely against Meath. I don't know, is he the sort of player that's going to answer Kildare's problems? You know, do they score enough goals?
So, you know, he might be. Everybody's saying Shawnee's never scored a championship goal, and you know, but Kildare even have problems scoring easy points. Like their points even look difficult. Shawnee's a master scoring easy points, and who's to say if he's playing off the right kind of players that he won't score a championship goal before the summer's over? He would just bring a totally different dimension to the Kildare attack with, you know, his trickery, his movement, his pace, just, you know, his ball skills and his ability to finish. Obviously, like, you know, maybe in alongside big men like James Cavan and Tomas O'Connor, he could really, you know, he could be the man who could set them on fire. It's possible, you know, people have been quite quick to dismiss him as probably been an impact substitute who might come in when the game opens up in the bigger games, but I mean, this all depends on Kildare getting their act together and getting through to a quarter final at some stage, really. So
you would assume Kildare beat Cavan at the weekend. Now Cavan have a decent young team, but you know, it's quite a step up to play a team like
Cavan have a great young midfield. Groyd and Kieran and David Gibney, but you know, outside of that, they're building, so you would expect Kildare to come through that.
Outside of that, there's 7 other football qualifiers on and 2 hurling qualifiers. Probably the most interesting game of them all is in the hurling qualifiers. Limerick and Clare. They've played 4 times this year. Clare beaten 3 times. It's been a draw. Limerick are actually favourites in that game. They are probably slight favourites in that one because they have a good young team. They're an excellent half forward line. A couple of lads coming back from injury. Shane Sicky's apparently on his way back, which was unexpected. In the football, it looks probably like it'll all go the favourites' way. Would you agree?
Yeah, maybe the only game that might be difficult to call here is, well, I actually fancy Leitrim might turn Wicklow over in Carrick and Shannon's. Like, Wicklow struggled to get past Waterford after extra time, and I mean, at the end of the day, you know, you're talking about two Division 4 teams here. So
Kieran Highlands out as well.
Quite evenly matched. He's an important defender. He's probably been marking maybe Emlyn Mulligan did a man-marking job on him. So that could be a shock, but the toughest one to call is probably Laois and Monaghan. Monaghan have a hard edge, a lot of good players if you consider their team 1 to 15, but just don't convince. Like, they lost an 8-point lead, was it, against
9 points I think was at one stage against Down
in the Ulster semi-final. So I mean, and they actually even went 4 points up again with 10 minutes to go in that game and still lost the match. So they're not convincing when it comes to the crunch. And Laois, again, another team that are flattering to deceive a bit. And I mean, one of these 2 teams could get a major bounce out of this, but I mean, it's an incredibly tough game to call.
Yeah, they're both even money actually. The rest, the favourites look justified in their prices. I suppose the next round is where the interesting games are going to be, because you're going to have, like I said, probably Kerry and Tyrone, Kildare all going into the hat together, and they could get each other. So I suppose round 3 is the one we're all kind of looking out for.